to Series 2, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, folks, here we are. We made it. We did it. We did it. It is Season 2. We absolutely nailed Season 1. I am so excited to say if you haven't seen Season 1, go back and start from the beginning with Episode 1, Season 1, the divine blueprint. We are humans, we're born to be like God. So that's what we're doing here is we're Season 2. We are building on top of the 4 fundamental philosophical questions of who am I, where did I come from, where am I going, who am I? I was made to be like the creator of the universe. That sounds so off the hook, so incredible, but it's true. Brought all the receipts through Series 1, 7 episodes. Phew, we did it. If you got through all of that and you're here to this point, I am excited for you and yours. Because, wow, we are really, if you haven't already started having some incredible things happening to you, strap in, buckle up, because I'm telling you, life is about to get exciting and maybe a little more difficult at times, to be frank. We'll talk more about that. We did cover some of that, though, in the first series. There are some forces at work in the universe that do not want us to understand this information. Highly likely that's the reason why it's not very popular. I mean, it's been documented and it's been carried for 2,000 years, much longer than that really. But, since the first century, we had the creator of the universe come to live on planet Earth, became a baby through Mary, his mom, and grew up and showed us how to live life. He literally taught us how to be like him. It's the whole point of why we were born. And he nailed that home with his guys, taught them how, and then we see the receipts that they became like him in many ways. Maybe not totally. I mean, this is an eternal job, being like our Father in heaven, being like Jesus, being like God. I know that's even just crazy to say, right? But it's not. But it sounds like it. So here we are. This is Season 2. Today, Episode 1 is an introduction to where we're headed over the next several episodes, building on top of the foundation of the who am I, how do I reach my potential? What is the human potential? It's to be like our dad in heaven. He, more than anything, wants us to be like him. It's the reason why we were born. It's the reason why he created us. He created us to be like him. I know, right? And we were created not only to be like him, but we're also going to live for eternity. No ending. So let's get this idea that, this doesn't have to happen overnight. Sooner's better than later. But we have to have, in order to get into the loftier levels of being like our Father in heaven, we have to have our foundations built. First of all, we have to get our head straight. What we believe, okay, we've covered some of that in the first series. What we believe moves us to shift and change our free will to the point where we say, because we were made to be like our Father in heaven, we have free will. And that is the one thing that can stop our Father in heaven from changing us. And because he's honors the free will aspect of who we are, we can say no. Or just flat out not think about it, not believe, spend our time doing everything else but, and that's going to be a hindrance in our development to being like him. So he spends our whole life, we wonder, why have I gone through all the things that I've gone through? Well, if you think about it and you dial it back, everything that we've gone through is to get us into this program. to understanding, hey, we're supposed to be like our Father in heaven, and then committing and submitting to that program. He put together a system 2,000 years ago, formally. It's a training system. We can call that church if you want, and people do call it that. But it's not, it is that, but it's so much more than that. It's a training system. It's like a chemical process almost, where it's a metamorphosis that if we take all that we are and put it into the petri dish, God then, as the scientist, moves, changes, adds, subtracts, and poof, it by the end, we end up like him. So yeah, we got two programs. Plan A, get us into the Plan B program, which is to submit to his program, to his way of doing things, to getting the manual sorted out, the do's and the don'ts. We have a lot of, there's some things that God says, don't do that. Well, it's just because it inhibits our development on his plan, which hopefully becomes our plan of us being like him. He's our Father, and more than anything, he wants us to be like him. Literally, he made us to be like him. His whole heart for you and for me and every single person is to get us developing to be like him. And teaching us and training us himself and through his teachers, overseers. Covered that in season 1. And God gave us apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the equipping of the saints, for the work of the ministry, that we would be raised up to the fullness of Christ. Yeah, we covered that. I don't have the exact address on it, but Google that, look that up, because it's so powerful, right? So anyways, here we are, season 2, episode 1. Building on top of this idea, this foundation, that we are to be like our Father in heaven. Okay, he wants us more than anything to do that. So, he's our Father, we're his kids, and it's so much like that all we got to do is just kind of wrap our heads around this idea that we're a family. I mean, Adam and Eve, with God, they were a family. Okay, we won't get into all of that at this point, but we're going to come back to that. So, what's from this point, from this stage, what is the most critical thing that we can do, the most valuable, the most important thing that we can work out? And that is to communicate with our Father in heaven, right? It's the communication. We need to communicate with him because he wants to. I mean, we're designed for that. We've been designed to dialogue with our Father in heaven, right? There are so many examples through the Bible of God talking and dialoguing with humans, us, spiritual human beings, and it's a provision for us. He's our dad. We're his kids. He wants to talk to us. He literally wants to talk to us, right? But he wants to prepare us so that we can do that, okay? Because he's extremely powerful, right? And we need to be prepared in order to open up the come to him the right way, right? He's the king, and he's the creator of the universe. He's the King of Kings. He's like the high everything, right? And we're lowly kids. So we need to learn how to come to him and talk to him. So the most powerful thing that we can do at this point, and what I'm just setting up today in this introduction, the most powerful thing that we can do at this point from this stage of now we understand that we're to be like our Father in heaven. Now we need to talk to him. We need to, and we can, and we will. Okay? God's been doing it with people. He doesn't show, throughout history, he doesn't show prejudice. He loves us all of us, and he wants to be communicating with us. We're going to go through tons of examples in the Bible and throughout history, looking at times where God's communicated and dialogued regularly with people. Okay, Padre Pio, and we talked about in the episode 7 of series 1, He was somebody who regularly communicated with Jesus, regularly, all the time. And when you learn about what God did through him and the amazing power that God moved through Padre Pio, you're going to get an idea of, oh, okay, yeah. He doesn't show prejudice. You know, he literally wants us all to be developing that way. So I got one major verse for today, and then I'm going to finish up. Through in the Old Testament, there's a prophet. His name's Jeremiah. He was someone who used to dialogue with God. That was his job. Okay, that's what he did. He was called a prophet. God would talk to him. He would talk back. They would have a dialogue. You know, God would say, "Hey, I want you to go tell these people this information." Normally, it was because it was messy and needed to be cleaned up. So Jeremiah was the clean up on aisle 9 guy. And often that's what prophets were. They were, hey, there's problems, go tell them this and this will fix it, right? Most people don't want to talk to God. Like, they don't. They'd rather not. They got other things to do. Why? I don't know. That seems terribly like a bad idea to me. But, even with Moses, when God was revealing himself back with the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, they went to Mount Sinai. God was revealing himself, thunder and lightning and mountains shaking and the whole thing. And the people were like, Moses, we don't want anything to do with this. You go talk to him. You go. We're fine. Just tell us. I don't know. I don't get it. But so anyway, Jeremiah, it was his job to talk to God. God would talk back. They would dialogue. He'd go off. And so there's some information that I'm going to read that he wanted to communicate with everybody, the whole world. Okay? And this is going to blow your mind. I'm going to read it to you right now as a part of the setup for the rest of the following episodes in this series. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 through 14a. Okay? And here it is. God speaking through Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for welfare and not evil. Welfare, goodness, great plans for you, not for evil. To give you a future and a hope. What's the future and hope? To be like God, to be like our Father. That's the future and the hope. Verse 13, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you. This is it right here, guys. It's amazing because we have a part to play in this. If you do this, I'll do this, says God. He literally says, if you seek me with your whole heart, I'll reveal myself and I will be found by you. This is true. This is a true thing. This is a promise, okay? God doesn't mess around when he says stuff, right? He doesn't. It's a promise. So you can go to the bank with this. I know because I did myself. And at some point in the future, I'm going to share some of my dialogues. That's heavy duty, guys. But it changes your life when it happens. I promise. But it's his promise to you and to me and to everybody. If you seek me with your whole heart, I'll reveal myself. If you seek me with your whole heart, I will reveal myself. If you make it the most important thing in your life, because that's what God wants anyway, okay? If that makes him happy, when we put him on the top of the pile of importance, attitudinally especially. Because we can't do this on our own. We can't do this. I can't talk to God. But he can talk to me. He can open the door and go, hey, son, how are you today? How was your day today? I already know how your day was, but I just want to talk to you about it. I want to give you some insights. This you could have done better. This was great, what you did here. Let's talk. He wants to talk. If you seek me with your whole heart, I'll reveal myself. I got a plan for you. It's for your goodness and not for evil. I'm your dad, right? Huge, massive Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11 through 14a. Okay. That's my setup for this series 2. Okay. He really does. He wants to talk to us, and if we just bug him, and we're going to get into the verses. We're getting his. I've got receipts for the how-to on this, guys. And listen. I've helped people with this ad nauseum. So many people over the years. It's why I'm making this YouTube channel, especially the "Be Catholic?" part, because when I ran into this was about 2 years ago. I started studying. I got, I don't know, 2,500 hours of studying Catholic theology. Over 30,000 of studying Protestant evangelical theology, ancient religion, modern religion, sociology, spiritualism. Look, anything to do with the supernatural. Since I was a kid, I was just like, I know there's more to who and what I am than what I'm seeing and being told. And so when I got into onto these lines, I'm supposed to be like Jesus? What? Study. I'm just like, this is it. If I can get this, then everything else becomes possible. Mind-blowing, world-shaking. It's became the most important thing. I did other things, but and often I wouldn't even talk about this stuff with people. Often because they're just like, well, whatever, dude. But I got this revelation at the age of 17. It's like, oh my. Jesus, when you read what Jesus says about this stuff, he says, if you seek first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, all these things will be added unto you, your food and your clothes and your everything you need. Well, that's incredible. That's my dad wanting to take care of me like a dad does. You know what? No offense to anyone, but we're not doing all that great here on planet Earth. I mean, everyone thinks they're all buttoned up, but this is bad. Like, folks are not as buttoned up as they think they are. Comparison to where we're supposed to be. Like, where's the bar, right? Talked about that in series 1. And I need some serious help with this thing. What am I doing here on this planet? I'm asking around when I was a kid, what's going on? They're like, man, I don't know, and it's like, oh, but I figured, I didn't figure it out on my own. I'm 100% confident that it was God working through all the things to get me to the point where I'm to this information. And so since then on, this is where I've been. I've had degrees of success and failure, throughout the years because of my fallen nature, because of the way the culture I grew up in. I was so severely damaged by this world, folks, as we all are, and I lived a normal, just normal, but severely damaged relative to where I could be, being like my Father in heaven. So a lot of things needed to get fixed and so on. But getting into this information, dialoguing with my Father in heaven. He's my Father. Of course he wants to talk to me. That only makes sense to me. He's my Father, literally. Like, that was such a huge thing, gift that Jesus brought to the first century Jewish culture and beyond. Up to that point, they didn't really see God as, the Jews of what we call the Old Testament. They didn't really see God as their Father. He was like a master and a king and someone over there, going back to Moses and the folks that were like, oh, we don't want to deal with God personally. We want someone else to be in the middle for us. Well, Jesus is, the Sermon on the Mount, like 17 times he talks about God being our Father. Well, that was mind-blowing to those guys back then. They're like, what? Wait, what? And then they wanted to kill him for saying he was the Son of God. Yeah, and he was God too, but, we did cover some of that in series 1. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 through 14a. I've been on this verse since I was, 17 years old. It's the most powerful verse for me, personally changed my life. It went from, those guys through history were, they sure did great things, and I'm just some normal nobody. But that's not what Jesus says. Literally doesn't say that. He says I can have a relationship with God in heaven too. Now, do I want to be some famous prophet? No, I don't want to be anything. Frankly, I just want to be what he made me to be. That's all what he wants to do after that. That's he's in charge. I'm not. I figured that out. Right? But I do want to talk to him. And he says, if you seek me with your whole heart, I'll reveal myself. And you know what? He does. Look, I'm telling you the truth, he does. We just need to do it with our whole heart. Mind, soul, strength. That's what he's talking about. Love God with all your mind, soul, and strength. That's what he wants. And he'll reward us with that, spending time with us. Like formally. Dialoguing. Not even joking. So incredible. And then you start realizing, hey, at any moment of any day, anywhere, he could do anything just to say hi. And he does. These coincidences that we see sometimes, they're not coincidences. And those are just little breadcrumbs he leaves for us. Say, hey, you're going in the right direction. But do you want to dialogue with me? Come on, with your whole heart. Coming, in the Old Testament, there's a verse, forget what the address is. It says, it's the glory of God to conceal a matter, and it's the glory of kings to search it out. It's just God saying, hey, you know what? This is the great stuff that I got for you, but you're gonna have to work a little for it. You gotta come and get it. Remember when you're a kid with your dad, and he's like, getting you to walk, and he'd have some food or a treat or something. Come on. It's just like that, And I'll tell you, he has a sense of humor. Just say that for the record. Just saying, he does. And he wants more than anything to talk to us. Because once we cross that threshold, we actually literally can be changed by our communication and the things that he wants to do for us and give us, the doors he wants to open, because it's not just for us, but he wants us to help our neighbors and everybody else that we can. It's not just for us. Once we get onto that, I'll tell you, things really move. Just commit our whole life to, it's not that we got to quit everything, but we just got to put it first. And we'll get into more of the mechanics in the episodes ahead. I'm going to leave it right there. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 through 14a. Read it, study it, prayerfully meditate on it. Ask yourself, do I want to seek God with my whole heart? Do I really want to talk to him? Because if you do, all of this stuff becomes possible. If we don't do that, well, things get less interesting and not very exciting. And he still wants to pull you to that anyway. So he's going to create environments that, come on, get over, let's just submit. But, all things in good time. With that, season 2, episode 1 in the can for today. Just an introduction. Guys, I got so much good stuff for you. So much good. You thought series 1 was great. We're really going. We're up off the tarmac, and we are ready to go supersonic. This stuff is big, big information. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bless y'all.